Captain Elias Monroe had never imagined that first contact with an alien species would be this strange, this delicate, and yet this oddly personal. He floated in the observation chamber of the ship Aurora, staring at the glowing planet below. Its surface shimmered with colors he could not name, a mix of violet oceans, golden deserts, and forests that seemed to pulse with life. This was the home of the Zythurians, a species humanity had only seen from afar until now. The humans and Zythurians had barely exchanged words. The Zythurians' communication was mostly telepathic, their thoughts flowing like currents of energy, while humans relied on sound and gesture. But the two species had agreed on a meeting to discuss peace after a small skirmish near the planet's orbit. Humanity had sent diplomats, scientists, and explorers. Elias had been chosen to lead the team because of his experience in high-risk negotiations. He looked down at his hands. Even they seemed fragile compared to the creatures he had glimpsed in the Zythurian holoscan, a race that could see through walls, read emotions, and anticipate danger before it happened. Humanity, in comparison, was unpredictable, emotional, and slow. Yet there was a spark in them that no telepathy could foresee. That spark was Elias himself. The shuttle carrying him and his crew touched down gently on the planet's surface. The air was thin but breathable, carrying a faint metallic scent, like iron mixed with ozone. They stepped onto the landing platform, where towering crystalline structures reflected the planet's strange light. No walls, no doors, just open space that seemed to move with a rhythm all its own. A faint hum began in the air, almost like music, yet not music. It resonated in Elias' chest. It was as if the planet itself was alive and aware of his presence. He shivered slightly but pushed forward. "Keep your eyes open, stay alert," he whispered to his team. They nodded. Sergeant Myra Patel, a sharp-minded engineer, scanned the area with a handheld device that blinked with light. Dr. Jonas Reeve, the team's biologist, bent slightly to examine a strange, glowing vine. Every movement felt significant, almost ceremonial. Suddenly, the air in front of them shimmered. Elias froze, and so did everyone else. From the shimmering light, a figure emerged. Tall, elegant, and impossibly graceful. Her form was humanoid but ethereal. Her skin glimmered like liquid silver, and her eyes held galaxies within them. She moved with an authority that was not aggressive, yet impossible to ignore. Elias' heart pounded. He realized immediately that this must be the Zythurian queen. Her presence alone seemed to bend the air, the light, and even time itself. The queen, Lithara, regarded them without a word, and then, telepathically, her voice entered his mind. "You are hurt," she said, not in accusation but as a statement that struck Elias with startling accuracy. Elias' hand went to the small cut on his forearm. It had come from a malfunctioning hatch on the shuttle, a trivial accident, but somehow she had known. "You're hurt because of me. I won't allow that again," she continued, her voice calm, yet carrying an unshakable authority. The team stared, frozen. Telepathy was one thing they had prepared for communication, but emotion, empathy. Elias felt a strange warmth spread from the cut in his arm. It was not just concern, it was responsibility. The queen, in some inexplicable way, had taken responsibility for his injury. We didn't mean any harm," Elias said aloud, his voice trembling slightly. He felt absurd, speaking when she could hear his thoughts directly. She tilted her head, a gesture almost human, yet impossibly elegant. Her eyes, those vast galaxies, studied him. Then, without warning, the shimmering around her intensified, and the platform itself seemed to shift. Walls of light rose, enclosing them in a dome of quiet energy. The team instinctively backed up, unsure if this was a threat or protection. "It is not a punishment," Lithara's voice echoed in Elias' mind. "I am learning about you, your species, and I see potential, courage, and unexpected resilience. These qualities are rare." Elias blinked, trying to process her words. Resilience, courage. He had survived countless dangers in space, but this was something entirely different. It was recognition, and for some reason it made his chest ache with pride and unease at the same time. Myra stepped closer to him. Captain, should we? Stand your ground, Elias whispered. We are not here to fight, we are here to show who we are. The Queen's form shimmered again. This time she moved closer, her light enveloping Elias briefly. He felt a pressure on his chest, not physical but emotional. She was reaching out through some unnameable connection, probing, understanding, and acknowledging his pain. His cut throbbed, yet the sensation was different. It was almost comforting. You endure, she said. Even in weakness you endure. That is remarkable. The humans were silent. They could feel the weight of her attention, but there was no threat, only curiosity. Lithara extended her hand, and a small orb of energy formed above her palm. It floated toward Elias. Take this, she said. It will heal your wound and protect you from further harm while here. Elias hesitated. Accepting gifts from a powerful alien queen could be dangerous, but something in the sincerity of her thought, so different from any other alien encounter humanity had experienced, made him trust her. He extended his hand and the orb melted into his skin. The pain eased immediately. He felt stronger, lighter, almost invigorated. You are different, Lithara said softly. Your species unpredictable, emotional, yet your bravery shines through. I must see more. I must understand. What do you want from us? Elias asked, his voice steady despite the whirlwind of emotions. Nothing yet, she replied. But know this, your presence here changes things. You are not just visitors, you may shape the path ahead. And if you are harmed, I will not allow it again. For a moment, time seemed to stop. Elias realized that the Queen had made an unspoken promise. Humanity, in its flawed, chaotic way, had been acknowledged, respected, and even protected. It was a strange feeling, one he had never expected from an alien species. The shimmering dome faded, leaving them standing on the platform in the alien light. The planet's colors seemed brighter now, as if the world itself had taken notice of them. The crew exhaled, the tension slowly draining from their bodies. Captain, did that just happen? Myra whispered. Yes, Elias replied, staring at the space where Lithara had been. And we're already part of something bigger than we imagined. As they moved forward into the alien city, Elias felt a sense of purpose he had never known before. Humanity was fragile, unpredictable, and emotional, but perhaps that was exactly what made them powerful. And somewhere, beyond his understanding, the Queen had seen it too. The first contact was over, but the journey had only just begun. The alien city stretched endlessly before Captain Elias Monroe and his team, a labyrinth of shimmering crystal towers, floating pathways, and lights that shifted like liquid colors. Even after the Queen's intervention, the humans felt the weight of being strangers in a world that seemed alive. Every step they took made a soft hum ripple through the platforms beneath them, as though the city itself was aware of their presence. Elias glanced at his crew. Myra Patel adjusted her scanner nervously. Jonas Reeve kept his eyes on the alien flora, and Lieutenant Aaron Kim stayed close, weapon ready, though none of them expected to fire it. They were explorers, not soldiers, but here the lines were blurred. Suddenly, alarms rang out, not in sound but as vibrations in the platform, a warning that pulsed through their bodies. A group of Zythurians appeared, but not the graceful, calm kind they had seen before. These were different. Their movements were sharp, almost aggressive, and their eyes flickered with suspicion and hostility. Elias raised a hand. Stay calm, we're not here to fight. The leader of the group stepped forward, a tall figure whose skin glimmered darker than the others, almost shadow-like. Through telepathy, Elias felt a surge of anger and fear directed at them. This was a rogue faction, Zythurians who opposed peaceful contact with humans. You should not be here, the figure communicated. though its voice was harsh and dissonant, echoing in the humans' minds. "Your presence is a threat." Elias exchanged a quick glance with Myra. "We didn't come to threaten anyone. We came to talk to understand." The rogue faction hesitated, their glowing eyes narrowing. Then, without warning, the platform beneath them shifted violently. The humans stumbled and a wall of energy rose, separating them from the rest of the city. It was a trap designed to isolate them. Elias grabbed Aaron's arm. "Move, find cover." The humans sprinted across the crystalline pathway, dodging shifting energy barriers and streams of light that shot unpredictably from the rogue Zythurians. Even with the Queen's protective influence lingering, they were vulnerable. The humans' advantage was their creativity, their ability to adapt in ways the aliens could not predict. Myra pointed to a series of floating platforms above. "If we can reach those, maybe we can escape the main path." Elias nodded. "Good thinking. Let's go." They leapt from platform to platform, using ropes and cables when necessary, and relying on quick improvisation to avoid the aggressive Zythurians below. Each move required courage, teamwork, and trust, qualities that set humans apart. They were slower, weaker in some ways, but their ability to think unpredictably kept them alive. Above them, the city stretched into towers of light that seemed to pierce the sky. For a brief moment, Elias allowed himself a glance back at the rogue faction. Their telepathic energy was intense, almost overwhelming, but the humans were not alone. He felt it, Lithara's presence, subtle but unmistakable. She was watching, guiding, and protecting in ways the humans could not fully understand. As they reached a safer platform, Jonas whispered, "Captain, they're adapting to us. Every move we make, they counter it faster." Elias frowned. "Then we need to do something they can't predict, something human." He scanned the environment quickly. The crystal towers reflected light in strange ways. A sudden idea struck him. "Myra, remember the scanners. Can you overload one of the light cores above, just enough to blind them temporarily?" Myra's eyes widened. "It's risky, but yes, I can try." Within moments, she rerouted the energy, causing a dazzling flare that sent the rogue Zythurians stumbling, disoriented. Elias seized the moment, leading the team through a hidden passage revealed by the flare. They ran, hearts pounding, adrenaline surging, but also with a sense of determination. They would survive, not just because of skill, but because of courage, creativity, and trust in each other. Hours later, they found temporary shelter in an abandoned section of the city. The walls glowed faintly, responding to their presence. Jonas examined the surroundings. "This area, it's like it's alive but dormant. We can hide here for now." Elias allowed himself to breathe. "We need to rest but stay alert. They may try again." As the team settled, Elias felt the Queen's presence more strongly than before. Lithara's thoughts reached him, not as commands, but as a gentle, reassuring stream. "You endure. You survive. You are remarkable." He nodded slightly as if she could see him. "We are doing our best," he thought. "We will not fail." During the quiet hours, the humans shared stories, strategies, and plans. Their bond grew stronger. They were vulnerable, yes, but vulnerability had not broken them. It had made them more human, more resourceful. Even the small cut on Elias' arm, now fully healed, reminded him of the Queen's empathy and the strange connection forming between species. At dawn, the rogue faction returned, more organized and determined. They descended upon the humans with energy nets and barriers, aiming to trap them. But Elias had anticipated this. He led his team through narrow passages, overgrown with alien flora that reacted to touch, creating natural defenses. The humans used every tool at their disposal: makeshift shields, quick traps, and clever use of the environment. Each move reflected a blend of fear, instinct, and intelligence. The aliens' telepathy could predict patterns, but humans were unpredictable. They adapted in the moment, improvising with courage that no alien foresight could match. The rogue faction faltered, and in the critical moment, a wave of telepathic energy washed over the battlefield. Lithara had intervened openly for the first time. She did not attack, but her presence alone disrupted the aggression, pacifying the Zythurians with authority and clarity. Elias fell to his knees, exhausted but alive. Myra and Aaron were beside him, breathing heavily, smiling through the tension. Jonas had a cut on his forehead but was otherwise unharmed. They had survived because of their wits, their teamwork, and their unshakable will. Lithara's voice entered Elias' mind once more, softer now, almost admiring. "You are extraordinary. Your species is resilient. Courageous, creative, I must see more." Elias met her gaze, or rather the impression of her presence. "Thank you," he thought. "We did what we had to do." The humans had not only survived, they had impressed the Queen, and in doing so, they had changed the balance of perception. To the Zythurians, humans were fragile and emotional, yes, but also brave, inventive, and unyielding in the face of danger. They were unpredictable in ways that even the most advanced alien mind could not fully calculate. As the day ended, Elias looked at the glowing horizon. The rogue faction had been defeated, but the humans' journey on this strange planet was far from over. The city still held secrets, challenges, and dangers. Yet, for the first time, he felt a sense of hope. Humanity had proven its value, not through weapons or raw power, but through courage, ingenuity, and heart. And somewhere, watching silently, Lithara, the alien queen, had decided that humans were not just visitors. They were something extraordinary, something worth understanding, worth protecting, and perhaps, one day, worth trusting completely. The sun, or what humans thought of as a sun, cast a strange golden glow across the alien city. Captain Elias Monroe and his team had spent the night in the hidden section of the crystalline towers, resting and planning their next steps. The rogue faction had been dispersed, but the threat was not fully gone. In the world of the Zythurians, power was never fully contained. Elias leaned against a glowing wall, his mind still buzzing from the previous day's events. The Queen had intervened, showing her power without violence, and yet she had not spoken directly to them in hours. That silence was weighty, almost as heavy as her presence had been during the battle. "We need to move," Elias said, straightening. "The longer we stay here, the more likely someone finds us, and we need to understand this city and its people if we want peace." Myra nodded, adjusting her scanner. "I've been analyzing the energy patterns. There's a central core deep in the city. It looks like it controls the flow of energy across the structures. If we can reach it, we can stabilize the city and prevent further attacks." Jonas frowned. "You mean we could help the city? That would impress the Queen even more." Aaron smirked. "Or get us killed, but yeah, let's go with the first part." Elias smiled faintly. "That's the spirit, let's move." The humans made their way through winding pathways and floating bridges, the city around them alive with shimmering light. Every step seemed to pulse with energy, almost as if the structures themselves were breathing. And then they felt it, a subtle calming presence that radiated through the platforms and air. It was Lithara. Her voice entered their minds, soft but clear. "You have done well, but the final test approaches. I will join you openly. You must show your courage, your unity, and your ingenuity." Elias glanced at his team. "Final test. Here we go." They descended into a vast chamber, the walls glistening with moving patterns that shifted like liquid metal. In the center, a massive energy core floated above the ground, glowing brighter than any crystal they had seen. But it was unstable. Sparks and streams of energy arced dangerously, threatening to tear the chamber apart. Before they could approach, the rogue faction returned, larger and more organized than before. They had recovered, regrouped, and now aimed to destroy the humans and the energy core to assert their dominance. Elias' heart pounded. They were surrounded, outnumbered, and the core itself could explode if disturbed. "Stay calm," Elias whispered. "We've survived worse. Trust each other." Myra's eyes sparkled with determination. I can stabilize part of the core if we get close enough. Elias nodded. Then we create a path. Jonas, look for natural cover. Aaron, get ready to defend. We move together. They advanced carefully, dodging energy arcs and rogue Zythurian attacks. The human strength was not in raw power but in unpredictability. Each move was improvised, clever, and courageous. When the aliens anticipated one action, the humans adapted instantly, using the environment to their advantage. At a critical moment, a spike of energy shot from the core, heading straight for Jonas. Elias lunged, grabbing him and rolling aside. The core's energy sizzled around them, yet no one was hit. Myra shouted, "Now, I can override it." She touched the core with her scanner, rerouting its energy through a series of conduits. Sparks flew, but the chamber began to stabilize. The rogue faction hesitated, unsure how the humans were able to manipulate something they themselves considered sacred and untouchable. Then, a brilliant wave of light filled the chamber. Lithara stepped forward openly, her presence immense, glowing, and unmistakable. The rogue Zythurians faltered, sensing her authority and the weight of her judgment. "You have shown courage, ingenuity, and unity," she said in their minds, her telepathy wrapping around them like a warm shield. "You are not merely visitors. You are worthy of trust, and I respect your species more than I have any other." Elias felt a strange mix of awe and relief. He stepped forward, meeting her gaze, or at least the impression of it. "Thank you," he thought. "We didn't come here to fight. We came to understand, to survive, to prove that humanity can rise to any challenge." Lithara's presence pulsed around them, almost as if acknowledging his words. "You have done more than survive. You have helped stabilize the city and prevented chaos. Your species is remarkable." The rogue faction, seeing the Queen's open support of the humans, began to retreat. Their aggression faltered, replaced with uncertainty and fear. Elias watched them leave, realizing that humanity had not just survived. They had shifted the balance of power, not through dominance, but through courage, creativity, and moral strength. Once the chamber was safe, Lithara turned her attention fully to the humans. "I have seen your potential. Your resilience is rare, your courage inspiring. I wish to learn more, and I wish for my people to learn from you." Elias smiled faintly. "Then perhaps we can start by helping each other, humanity and Zythurians together." Myra placed a hand on the stabilized core. "We can maintain this together, use our perspectives, share knowledge." The Queen's light shimmered brighter, almost like a smile. "Yes, together." Over the next hours, Elias and his team worked alongside Lithara. They learned the city's systems, contributed ideas, and made adjustments that no Zythurian alone could have considered. The humans' unique perspective, their blend of courage, empathy, and ingenuity, transformed the alien structures. The city pulsed with new life, more stable, more resilient, and even more beautiful than before. When the work was complete, the chamber quieted. The energy core glowed steadily. The city itself seemed to breathe evenly, as if relieved. Elias and his team stood together, exhausted but triumphant. "You have earned my trust," Lithara said, "and more than that, my respect. Humanity is a species unlike any I have encountered. You endure, adapt, and inspire." Elias looked at his team, then back at the Queen. "And we respect you. You've shown that understanding, courage, and empathy are stronger than fear and aggression." For a moment, silence fell, not awkward but peaceful. It was the quiet of mutual recognition, of two species acknowledging the value of one another. Then the Queen spoke again. "This is only the beginning. Together, we will face challenges no one species could overcome alone, and together, we will thrive." The humans looked at one another, hope and pride in their eyes. They had survived impossible odds, impressed an alien queen, and proven that humanity's courage and ingenuity were forces to be reckoned with. As they stepped out of the chamber, the city around them shimmered, alive and vibrant. For the first time, Elias felt that humans had not only survived in an alien world, they had earned a place of respect, a bond that could shape the future of two civilizations. And somewhere deep in the city, the queen's gaze lingered on them, not with suspicion or judgment, but with admiration, promise, and an understanding that humanity, flawed, emotional, unpredictable, was truly remarkable. The humans had faced danger, survived, and inspired awe. The journey had been hard, but it had proven one thing above all: courage, ingenuity, and unity could bridge worlds. Humanity, in its simplest, most genuine form, had triumphed. And with that, a new chapter began, not just for the humans on this strange planet, but for the bond between two species, a bond forged in courage, respect, and the extraordinary strength of the human spirit.